Hello, Thundersmith here, welcome to the Gaming Nexus. Today's title is SurvIsland. It's your typical survival game, but with a twist. It contains very interesting crafting system. But don't jump in just yet, you might be disappointed. I'll tell you more about what is happening with this game later on. For now, let's concentrate on starting out. This game is not very forgiving, so in the beginning you need to concentrate either on building your first fire or crafting some clothes. Either of those paths will allow you to survive dark, cold night. But both of them require building crafting table first. As it is in most survival games, you will need to gather resources and process them to increase your chances of survival. That's all of the intro, so let's jump into the game. So, I spawned at the sandy beach. I will need 5 small rocks to build my crafting table. Let's start with that. This notification tells that I reached next level in my crafting skill. Each crafting skill has its own level, and the level determines which recipes are available to you. So now that I have crafting table, I need knife and a chisel to craft an axe later on. This requires from me to have few lime slates. That's why I need to destroy stone, because stone drop lime slate once it is destroyed. Don't worry, I didn't forget about the developers. I will tell you more about them later on. Right now the beginning is very dynamic and I need to tell you about many things. So here we have first real encounter with the crafting system. I need second stone to grind the first stone into the sharp blade. Now I need to create chisel. I will need it to create my axe. This specific crafting system increases learning curve of the game and unluckily causes many new players to get lost. Unluckily, game is very unforgiving and even with tutorial it's very hard to catch on what is happening. Okay, now we have a moment, so let's get back to the developers. Unluckily, the developer of this game is very curious because they update the game very rarely. So, according to Steam page, this game received 2 major updates 2 years apart from each other. So, in the latest update, this game received multiplayer and simplification of the crafting system, because the crafting system before the update was very convoluted. I can't say bad things about the game. I like it very much. I like the crafting system, I like the survival aspect, I like how hard it is. But if you're looking for community-driven development or often updates, that's not game for you. So just a quick note, if you have the game, leave a comment, let's say happy face, that will let me know that you own the game and played it, and maybe in the future we can play together, so let's see. But let's get back to what's on the screen. Right now I am crafting rope and belt, because it allows me to carry 2 tools on my belt. So as I mentioned in the intro, in the beginning you have to choose whether you craft your clothes first or your fire first. Without clothes and fire, you will die at night, so do one of the two. I always choose clothes because I can move with them and change my base spot for something other if I need to. So let's have a drink. At the beginning you don't have access to drinking water. You need to use green coconuts. You have to remove the green skin, and after the coconut is brown, you can drink from it. Later on, you can crack the empty coconut to eat its innards. I discovered that using the wrong tool on the rock causes a lot of damage to the tool. That's why I'm using coconuts to crack the rock, because this way I can crack them way faster than wasting my tools on them. About the food system. Food system is a little bit of, let's say, tricky. Because you see, you can eat a lot of protein and they will heal you, but they will not feed you. That's something strange, I think. They should feed you, but they don't. You need to eat sugars to feed you and proteins to heal you. So yeah, you need to balance your diet, but in very artificial way. Game includes also many different elements like dirt in the stomach or harmful bacteria. I'm not really exactly sure how that works because cooking is very limited right now. Previously, you could get constipated by eating too much meat and then you could die from constipation. So you needed to eat a lot of bananas or other like fibrous things like coconuts. But right now, seriously, I don't know. I can't tell you more. Back to the task at hand. I crafted fire tool to start my campfire. So, few notes about the fire. In the beginning, it's good to keep your campfire going all the time, because if you have your campfire extinguished, if it gets wet from the rain or something, you can't start it with fire starter because it needs to be dry. You can start fire in wet wood with light torch, but wet torch can't be started with fire starter. So my rule of thumb is keep my fire going, unless I have a shelter where I can store my torch to keep it dry during the rain. By the way, fire can and will damage wooden buildings, so keep it away from wooden structures. I'm crafting shovel for myself because I want to extract some clay from the ground. I need clay to start pottery. I want pottery as fast as possible because rain is excellent source of drinking water, but to catch rain I need some containers, and the pottery is excellent way to get clay containers. Another nice touch to the game mechanics is that you actually need to fire your pots, because unfired pots can be damaged by water. Only thing we want to store in them, so yeah, fire your clay pots. While building my pottery kiln, maybe I'll tell you something more about the game as it is. So in its current state, the game contains few different islands. I never left the first one, because you need to build big ship and it is extremely hard. I know that you can spawn on at least 2 of them. Last update introduced also metallurgy, so you can mine tin and copper to create brass, or you can mine iron and process iron. Update includes also few new animals, so rabbits, bears and deers. Right away, about animals and metallurgy, you require some skin scraps to create metallurgy tools, so you need to hunt the animals for the leather to create leather scraps for the tools. Okay, let's say a few words about combat. This game promises a lot in case of combat, because the damage should be part specific, and depending from the damage type they should do different things to your character. But it seems this very convoluted and like specific system is only designed for the player, unluckily. From my experience, fighting, for example, animals tend to be little health spongy, I guess. I never seen, for example, arrows to lead to bleeding out of the animal, or like slashing weapons for animal to bleed. No, you just have to hit them enough times for them to fall over. Taking in account that player character is very squishy and vulnerable to different kind of damages, it's kinda unfair. For example, I would love to use ranged weapons in this game, but unluckily, I haven't found a way to effectively use ranged weapons against animals. In most cases, damage output of the ranged weapon is just too small to effectively do anything. If I remember correctly, in my previous game, I managed to corner a deer into a rock, and I needed about 20 swings of an axe to kill a deer. That's a bit too much, don't you think? Okay, back to what's on the screen. So, I was a bit tired and I need my rest. I'm resting right now. You can see that you're using your stamina, the green bar, it's turning gray. So more gray there is, the lower your total stamina regeneration can do. So I'm still crafting my potter things, so like a bowl, 3 jars, and ground jar. Ground jar is like this huge, this thing, it's this huge jar for keeping a lot of water. It requires a lot of patience, but I like to have 3 ground jars standing on the ground and catching rain. They're amazing. About food and water, I just reminded myself that you can fish in this game, but it's not very efficient. You can either use like a fishing spear, and you actually have to hit the fish with the fishing spear and kill it, or you can use the fishing rod. I don't exactly know how to get the fish using fishing rod because I never caught one, so yeah, maybe next episode, who knows. Let's set them up so they can start collecting rain as soon as it starts raining, and it will start raining at some point, earlier or later. Okay, it's time for a little jogging to scout out the island and find maybe some animals. I need my proteins at last. And here we have a coconut crab. They were in the game earlier also. They are very hardy, so like you have to deal a lot of damage to kill them. But they also slow. Well, not that slow, but it will get slower with each hit, because damage slows animals down. That's how that works. By the way, another interesting mechanics is that using button R, you can change almost anything into throwing weapon. So for example, stones I'm using, they are not exactly a weapon, but I can turn them into one. And it's dead at last. Color of the bar means freshness. Closer to red it is, the less fresh the meat is. So I'll need to procure it somehow. First, I'll split it into parts using my trusty axe. And and the cooking we will see next time. This episode is coming to an end, so I wanted to thank you for your attention and see you in the next video. Bye!